Hi guys, Matt Editor here. Now we're getting close to the Attic Convention in Cardiff, and since my marathon is now complete, I thought I'd talk about my personal favourite episodes. These are the episodes in which I will always look back to whenever I think about Sarah Jane Smith. I know I've done a full review on each one, but I'll try and say something that I didn't mention before. If you'd like to hear more of my opinions on each episode, feel free to check out my Attic reviews. So, let's take one more trip down to Bannerman Road as we look over my top 10 SJA episodes. Number 10. Revenge of the Slovene. I had to make a choice between this one and Invasion of the Bane, since they are both stories that introduce us to the show. While Invasion of the Bane made a good start, I didn't get a chance to see it when it was first released, and after watching The Revenge of the Slovene, the introduction hype wasn't the same in the pilot. But Revenge of the Slovene is when the show got its format and style, and for a show based around the same world as Doctor Who, they decided to have the Slovene make their official place in this spin-off. And it's actually action-packed. While I do enjoy Invasion of the Bane, it's the next episode that takes the higher spot. The cinematography is great, the direction is good, the characters actually stand out in this story whether you saw the pilot episode or not, therefore giving Revenge of the Slovene the 10th spot. Number 9. Curse of Clyde Langer. As you can tell by my reviews that Series 5 is not the strongest series in the entire show. The stories were tiring, the characters were bland, but thankfully this episode came out. As well as a very strong central story for Clyde, this one features a really interesting concept which none of the other shows were okay to explore over at the time. Alongside brilliant performances from all the cast, especially Daniel Anthony, this one depicted adult themes such as homelessness and abandonment. This is without a doubt the best episode in the final series of the Sarah Jane Adventures. Number 8. Secret of the Stars. There are plenty of things to enjoy in Series 2, Sontarans, clowns, the Bane, but honestly, this episode stands out to me. We've seen Doctor Who and Sarah Jane talk about the universe and possibly seen all of it, but this one decides to explore a side of the universe which is never fully explained. I like that. That's one of the things I like about these shows. And it does seem to do it well with astrology. And dare I say, Truman is an awesome villain, and he carries this episode. I do like the idea of your birth star work against you. Sure, it has its boring and corny moments, but it still keeps me invested in the idea of how astrology can really work. Number 7. The Empty Planet. Series 4 is definitely a series in which all the best stories and best moments are held in place. It has everything you'd actually get in real life. Moving to college, growing up, departures, and in this episode's case, relationships. This episode serves as an experiment for Clyde and Ronnie to work in Sarah Jane's footsteps and teachings, whilst being trapped in an empty world, which also features a look of a possible romantic connection. The scenario is creepy, the robots are cool, and the performances of Ronnie and Clyde stand out in this episode. Number 6. The Mad Woman in the Attic. If you've seen my review, you can tell I did not expect what was going to happen in this episode. This is probably one of the best companion character-driven stories in the show, and it is carried out by Ronnie, played brilliantly by Angeline Mohindra. An enthralling, interesting plot really makes this one shine, alongside a cool concept and good, likable characters. Number 5. Lost in Time. We've had time travel stories before, but this one serves as the best time travel story in the show. We get the team to work alone in different historical events such as the World War, Tudors, or a haunted house. Okay, that last one is a bit confusing, but what makes this episode stand out is seeing how each character manages to get through their surroundings and how they try to solve each problem. Plus we get the shopkeeper making his first appearance, and he serves as one of the show's enjoyable characters, and his character still remains a mystery. That's one of the good things about this episode. Number 4. Temptation of Sarah Jane Smith. Now, when it comes to the Trickster stories, they both serve a good purpose. But after looking over this marathon, I decided to pick this one over whatever happened to Sarah Jane. Because to me, the idea of having to let go of Sarah Jane's parents in order to save the world serves a more strong, heartbreaking task for Sarah Jane. And let's face it, having to choose to let go of the people that could have made your life better is much more powerful than having to let go of a friend who was going to die anyway. And this actually gives us more information on Sarah Jane's childhood as a baby, where she came from, and who her parents were. This also explores the past in an interesting fashion, and every character in the episode stands out from being stereotypical one-note characters you'd expect in a time-traveling story. It's a rather simple concept, yet such a great story with another brilliant face-off between Sarah Jane and the Trickster. This episode also includes one of Elizabeth Sladen's amazing acting, and it really shows how good of an actress she really was, making this one of the episodes that made our iconic character stand out. Number 3. Death of the Doctor. Okay, first off, forget the title, we all know the Doctor isn't dead, but aside from that, this is actually a very fun episode. Since it was written by the showrunner, there was a lot of love being put into the show. Joe Grant, the Doctor, the TARDIS, vulture creatures, a sweet reflection on the classic series between two of our favourite well-known companions. This episode also serves as a nice little look back to the classic series, which reminds us why we love these group of characters from the very beginning. Number 2. The Wedding of Sarah Jane Smith. When it comes to life-occurring moments, weddings are always something you'd come across, and it's done nicely in this episode. Elizabeth Sladen and Nigel Havers are one of the actors that stand out in this episode, and dare I say, they actually make a pretty good couple, and the Doctor actually makes a good special guest at the ceremony. While I did like Matt Smith's appearance in Death of the Doctor, David Tennant's appearance had more thrilling moments whenever he's around, and actually adds to the story gently. Sorry Matt Smith, I still love you. It's a great plot which features one of the best Sarah Jane villain, the Trickster, with brilliant performances from all of the main characters, and possibly one of the sweetest endings the show had to offer. And honestly, if things didn't go wrong, this would have been a good wedding to attend. Before I reveal my top pick, here are a few honourable mentions. Number 1. Goodbye Sarah Jane Smith. I had a tough time trying to choose which one was better, The Wedding of Sarah Jane or this one. And surprisingly enough, I chose this one. Now I know what you're thinking. Out of all the stuff the show has given us, I would have chosen any of them. They had what a spin-off to Doctor Who would. Reoccurring characters, good aliens, the Doctor, old companions, whilst this story has none of that. If you were to ask me, what is the one thing I think of when you mention Sarah Jane, I would say life on Earth as an adventure, and that is why I love the Sarah Jane Adventures. It's a life experience. In fact, if you look back on my top 7 on this list, plus my number 9 pick, they all have one thing in common. They all feature a life experience everyone or anyone goes through. The idea of being abandoned, the idea of saying goodbye to the people you love, the idea of remembering, the idea of getting married, the idea of working together, the idea of being happy, and in Goodbye Sarah Jane's case, it's the idea of letting go. It was one of the only times we almost forgot we were watching a kids show. And not just a kids show, but a sci-fi action adventure drama show. We became lost in the world and the characters they presented us. And this episode is no exception. They were real, and we thought that they were real. It's everything why this series' moral is so powerful in one single episode, or maybe more. It was when it stopped being a show for many of us and became something much more real, and much more special. And since this episode ended on a happier note, it also keeps us guessing what the future will bring, not just to us, but also to our iconic, real characters. Do you agree or disagree? Which one's your favourite episode? Well, leave in the comment below and explain why they're your favourite. Thank you guys so much for joining me for this marathon. This has actually been really fun. Be sure to leave a comment, like and share this video, and if you'd like to see more of my videos, don't forget to subscribe. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you next time.